And welcome to Back to School series. This is 12 Sports Director Sam Knox, and we have a special guest. This is my first time in this room. We will be interviewing Central head football coach Mike Washington. I've known him since I've moved here to Providence. He's a great football coach over there in Central. Mike, welcome to the show. It's football season, man. Are you excited? And tell me about the team and what you guys are expecting this year.
Sam, WPRI, first, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Like you said, we've had a great relationship, since you've got down here. So I appreciate you. Football season, man, I'm excited. We had a very long, extensive off season. I'm also the track coach as well at Central, so I kind of merged the two programs. So our football team, they run winter track and they run spring track, and we kind of transitioned into the spring. So we've done good. We've tested. We've lifted. All our numbers are good. And, yeah, man, we're ready to go. We got a really heavy senior team this year, mixed with some juniors, seniors, a few freshmen who may be able to contribute. I think this is the deepest roster we've ever had. So, I feel good about going into the year.
For sure. And we were talking before this, you guys will be more pass-heavy this year, it seems.
Yeah.
You got a couple quarterbacks that can sling it.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Yeah, so we got a great two-quarterback situation going on. Jerry Nicolo, he's a four-year kid, homegrown. He's one of those kids who came in as a freshman. He wasn't too good, and he kind of just, developed, went through his off seasons, ran through in the summer, lifted, and, now he's, grown, big, strong, knows the offense, kind of knows what's going on. He's going to be taking the reins, and we have a special a new athlete this year. His name is Keanu Novatin. He's a true freshman, an actual true freshman. He's going to be going into ninth grade. Very smart kid. I think he's probably, I don't want to toot his horn too much. He's probably one of the smartest football players I've been around since I've been coaching. I know he did a great job transitioning from middle school to high school. I don't think I've seen him miss a day since the spring.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's that type of kid. He's from Miami, Florida, and, football's a little different over there. So, his temperament is just a little different. But, he checks all boxes, really smart kid, really hard worker. Good family, he can catch the ball, he can throw the ball, he can run the ball, he can do a lot of things. So I think we're going to feature him in a lot of different ways this year. But like you say, having two quarterbacks or having the disposal of two quarterbacks is a breath of fresh air. We ran into some issues last year where, we were injured heavy, and, we were down to our fourth string quarterback. So, I'm very happy about our quarterback situation going into the year.
That's great. So this new kid you were talking about, did he just move up?
Yeah, well, he's been here for 2 years.
Okay.
And he was originally a Lincoln resident.
Okay.
And he played for the Mount Hope Cowboys locally. And he played for Breakthrough locally, and that's kind of how we connected. I also coached the Breakthrough 14U. He was on the 12U, so we were kind of connected. And, I seen him play for the last 2 years, and, luckily his parents, they moved to Providence. And, I'm appreciative because at this point, we're a school that people look at, you know what I'm saying, to come and play football. And, that kind of was never a thing. And, a kid like that, traditionally, he'd go private, So, the fact that, his parents wanted him to come here and, he wanted to come here, was pretty big. And, I think his success this year, or what I'm hoping for, I hope that kind of opens the door, for everybody to kind of understand and believe you can come here, you can play right away if you do the right thing. And yeah, I'm excited.
That's great for the program. Absolutely massive. In terms of getting kids ready to go back to school, I mean, when they start the workouts, that's all they're doing.
Yep.
How do you kind of balance the football and also the academics part of things as they kind of get into this, the new school year?
Well, we try to, well, not even try to, so we have study table. We try to incorporate study table one time a week. Usually Mondays are the off days, lift days. So we try to do a study table here just to make sure the kids are staying on top of it. I also work in the building, so it's really easy for me to access the Central kids. Now, we do have kids who go to other satellite schools, like across the street at PCTA, Charette, Village Green, Charter. And what I do is I create contracts for the kids that basically hold them accountable. You got to sit in the first two seats of class. You got to do all your classwork. You got to turn your phone in. So I'm usually very, very, very diligent in that first quarter, because I think that's when you kind of got to go the hardest.
Right.
And transitioning, making it to the playoff. If you have a bad first quarter, you probably won't be playing playoffs, and you probably won't be, in a state championship scenario. So I usually go my hardest on my kids in that first quarter. I kind of ease up a little bit second and third, and we pick up again really on the fourth. But study table, contracts, and just holding them accountable, making sure they know, hey, school is the priority. Football is going to come second during the year. So that's kind of how I try to balance things out.
That's great. And how do you see the kids respond to the results that you get when you do these things?
I think every kid wants to be led, right? First off, and they just need structure, right? And then with the structure, they need belief. They need to believe in the person who's given them the structure, right? And I think that's why what we have is so special, because the kids they genuinely believe, right? I think I've been here since 2018, and again, they want to be led, right, in the right way, and they just need the perfect person to do it. So I don't really have any problems. I also run a pretty tight ship. If you don't like it, there it is. And, just the way we have things, kids want to come because it's so exclusive. And, you got to hold your own weight all throughout the year in order to remain on our active roster. So Central football is really exclusive. And I think when a kid gets an opportunity, he doesn't want to squander it. He doesn't want to waste it. He wants to make sure he's staying on the team. So those type of kids usually do the right things year round to make sure that they're staying on the team.
For sure. And in terms of the results that you do get because you run a tight ship, do you see the kids kind of rising to that standard?
Absolutely.
That you're setting? And
I think a lot of times people confuse success with wins and losses and how many championships you have. But I think I'm talking to a few of my guys, counting. I have 9 active players playing college football right now.
Wow. It's terrific.
9.
Good for you.
Right? Yeah. And, and I think when kids see that, younger kids see that, kids going to college, kids pushing, and half of the kids who I'm talking about, they went on as walk-ons, and they went on to earn scholarships. And that's what it's about, pushing through, perseverance, going through adversity. And, you may not be where you want when you graduate, you know what I'm saying? But, again, keep working, take the next step. And, again, I got a few kids, and they're jumping for joy telling me that, Coach, I got put on scholarship this semester. And, that's just the best feeling that you can have. And, when you kind of relay that to the younger guys and you let them know it's working, they have no kind of choice but to see the results and to kind of push through it.
That's amazing. All right, that's block 1 of our back-to-school sports special here with head coach Mike Washington. Coming up after the break, we will talk more Rhode Island high school football. Stick around. And welcome back to our 12 News Back to School Sports Special. We are joined once again by Central head football coach Mike Washington. He is a motivator, and if you've ever been to one of his practices, it can be intense, and he knows it, and he gets the best out of his kids. That's what's so great about Mike. Another year coming up, Mike, Division I, only Providence Public School in Division I. What does that mean to you and to the program to have that? You're representing Providence, really.
Yeah. I honestly, Sam, I take a lot of pride being in Division I, and that was kind of one of the first issues I ran into when I became a head coach, because that's when they were kind of doing the Power 4, right? And I had to kind of make the conscious decision of who were we going to be, right? I got a lot of secret emails I'll call kind of telling me to back off the Power 4 so it could be open, right? And it was kind of just always like, what is that saying to my kids, right? You got to understand, living in Providence, we're already at a disadvantage, right? In public school, in Providence. Like I said, you can literally walk through our school campus, behind our school, and you can see the environment that the kids kind of have to walk through to get there, right? So I look at it as Division I isn't going to be the worst thing that you guys run into in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bishop Hendrick and LaSalle, that's not going to be the worst thing you run into your life. You know what I'm saying? When you see adversity or when you have a goal and you have something, the idea is to push through it. If you fail, you learn the lessons while you fail, right? And you get better and you pick yourself up and you figure out how to do it again. And a lot of people are so obsessed with wins and losses. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of shy away from Division I, right? But that's a challenge I want to take. That's a challenge that I want my kids to take. And when they see any challenge in life, right, you run through it head first, right? And that's ultimately what I want to teach the guys. So I mean, being in Division One, we got to work super hard, and that's the reason why we work year round. Simple. If we didn't, we wouldn't be in Division One, right? So we're in Division One competing, right? That's another thing. We're not in Division One kind of hanging around saying we want to be in Division One. Everybody knows we're competing for a state championship every year. Now, does it get done? No, it may not get done, but everybody knows when Central's on the schedule, right? You probably got to lace up your helmet a little harder. It's also tough because when you are a Division II school, almost kind of playing up, 1 or 2 injuries, that's it, right? You're not deep. We don't have a 60, 70-man roster. We don't have 80 helmets, and we don't have 100 kids coming out. Right. And most of the kids who do come out, they don't even know how to play football. You'll be surprised how many kids I have to physically teach football in the winter, spring, and summer just for them to look like functional athletes in the fall. So it's tough. But like I said, that's regular adversity. I played college ball myself, grinding to get there. From a Providence kid, I didn't have a lot of the opportunities that I give the kids, so it's so hard getting there. So not to say I want to, make their lives hard, but I do want them to constantly be in the face of adversity. They already live in adversity. Like I said, life's going to be way harder than playing some private schools, you know what I'm saying, on a Friday night. So I think giving that to them, they've been able to rise to the occasion, and I think now it's the best decision I've ever made because it's normal. Us in Division I is normal. The work that we have to put in to stay there is normal. The standard that we have is normal. We know what we have to do to stay. We know what we have to do to win, most importantly. We've been so close. Everybody's watched our games, and they know how close we've been. So I think over the years, building that confidence, seeing that we're there, seeing that, Hendrick, they're not blowing us out. Ain't nobody blowing us out the water, right? So getting to that point and making the kids understand and believe. This year, a lot of kids, they've experienced those losses. Like I said, I feel really good about, the approach to this year and everybody's understanding about what's at stake and, what needs to be done and how we need to change the landscape of everything this year.
For sure. And you're preparing them for life, too. It's not just, okay, once they're seniors and it's over, you're faced with adversity.
Right.
So what would it do for them if you guys were D2 and you're cruising through? You know what I'm saying?
It do absolutely.
And I'm not speaking for you, but I know that's
you
probably
understand
how you're thinking.
Yes.
Right. You'd rather go, if say to go 6-4 than 10-0.
We went 5-5 last year.
Right.
No offense to Division II, but if I did the same thing I'm doing now at the Division II level, it'd be no. You know what I'm saying? It'd be, but you would just get. You guys aren't in Division I. So
you want to build.
We want to build.
You want to build the kids.
And we want to prepare our kids for college.
For sure.
And how you do that is you play the best. There's no other way around it. You play the best. And, when the kids get to college, they see they're playing 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds now, 25, 26, right?
Yeah, the transfer portal.
Yeah, right. Crazy. So that's a different type of adversity in itself. So if you're a freshman, sophomore going out there and getting banged in the head by the privates, it's only going to get you ready for when you go to the next level. And again, the kids who are in college playing now, they're ready. They're not shell-shocked. They're not calling me, oh, my God, Coach, camp it's crazy in here. They're all prepared, and they all know what's going on. So, we've done well in that perspective.
And doing a service to the kids as well.
For sure.
When you get a kid that's in college or down the line, you said you started in 2018 as the head coach of Central.
No, I started in 2021 as the head coach, but I was the assistant offensive coordinator in 2018.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay, so 2021, you're starting to see these kids now that are going to college, that are going to finish college, that are going to have kids down the line at some point, going to get married. When you get those messages from former players, what does that mean to you?
When I first graduated and I came back, this was kind of just the goal, right? I kind of came back with like a survivor's remorse mentality. I graduated college. I played college ball. I'm super happy. I went in the field of social work, so I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about empathy, perspective, and I learned a lot about, giving back. And it was very, very, very tough for me to kind of come back and see the current state of the kids and the current state of football. And when I finally got out, I think, again, I counted maybe, let's say 1,000 kids I've ran across in my life who were extremely good or functional at football, dead, in jail, on the streets, right? So the mission was to come back and give back, to change the generation, right? To change the idea of hope, to make the kids understand that there's more. It's not over after high school. It doesn't have to be over after high school.
Right.
And seeing these kids graduate, I think 3 of my kids graduated. One of my kids, he graduated and he's playing as a graduate now. And seeing kids, 3-4 kids graduate, a few kids now about to graduate this year, it worked. And it's just that feeling of satisfaction. Like I said, those wins aren't wins and losses, and nobody's gonna see those wins unless we're having these conversations right here. But it's just one of those feelings of like I made the right decision. It's easy to leave after college and go be on your own thing, get your money, make your life, do your family, but being able to come back, give back to the community, especially the community I came from, and ultimately kind of save kids or save the trajectory of their lives, it worked. And I'm kind of just I get to go to sleep at peace. I get to walk away from football if I ever did, whenever it comes, knowing that I did everything I could to help my community, not from a football standpoint, but from a life standpoint.
Making a difference. It's Mike Washington. Coming up after the break, we will talk more about the upcoming season, expectations, as we head back to school shortly. Stick around. Welcome back to our 12 News Back to School special series. Joining us again, Mike Washington, the head coach of Central Football. And in the last break, Mike, we were talking about the upcoming schedule that you guys are going to be having. What struck me, you guys were playing Milton Academy again after last year. You guys lost to them. You're going back there. They're not coming here. You're going back there where they beat you last year. What a competitor. Talk about that decision and talk about just the beginning of the schedule in general and how it'll help you guys.
Shout out to my assistant, Coach Lucier. He hates me for this because he just knows how I am. But yeah, so we went up last year, Milton. We played them for the first time. I think last year we had Lynn Classical from Mass, and that was a pretty good game. But I didn't know too much about Milton. They won the Division III MIAA state title the last year, so I knew they were good, but I didn't know how good. And yeah, man, they caught us by, I wouldn't say they caught us by surprise, but 35-0. I've never been handed a loss that candid, you know what I'm saying, that dominant. And again, as a competitor, you just want to figure out if it's real. You know what I'm saying? Was it me? What can I change? What can I do better? So I think, most people would go find another opponent. And I'm like, no, we're going right back up there. We're taking a bus right back up there. And, we're going to, try again. And I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to be more intentional with everything, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one who's bringing us back up there. So as I like to look at myself sometimes as the 12th man on our team. And, it's easy to say, but like I said, I try to be as much as intentional with how I call plays and how we schedule practice, just as much as we expect the kids to run, block, and tackle. And I just try to hold myself to that same standard. So I thought going up to Milton was important. They're a Division I RPI opponent for us. The game before that, we have Manchester Memorial. They're out of New Hampshire, so we open up the season with 2 out-of-state games. I think it's important to, again, give ourselves a different change of pace, a different change of competition. This year, we're going to scrimmage Springfield Central, right? Exactly, right? The #1 public school in Mass, right? That's a pretty big deal. It's going to be a 4-way scrimmage with them and 2 other programs. I think one from Mass and one from Connecticut. But exposing our guys to competitive environments. That's what we want, right? Before we play our big game, right? So ultimately we're going to play Springfield Central, Memorial, and Milton, all before we play our first game at we open up with St. Ray's. And it's just to say, hey man, we're playing Juggernauts, guys. St. Ray's shouldn't feel right. It should feel a little even better. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
We get our teeth kicked in, whatever the case. We battle it out.
You learn.
Whatever the case is, you live, you learn, you move on, and you apply it to the next.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
And being able to start the year with those teams, not that the other teams in Rhode Island are less than, but does it help you prepare for those? I mean, obviously, it could help you prepare for those big games against LaSalle, Hendricken.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's our barometer. That's what we use. And again, like you said, it's kind of no offense to every other high school, but I think every other high school kind of operates under the guise of Hendricken's going to be Hendricken and LaSalle's going to be LaSalle. Like, I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, be involved too much with that. So we use other teams to set the barometer. I think one big conversation right now amongst kids is Division I football. Right, going D1, playing D1, being D1, being this. And a lot of kids don't really know what it takes to play D1, or they don't even know what Division I athletes look like. Right. And part of my thing with Springfield Central is you guys are going to go see, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go line up in front of a Division I athlete. You can say everything you want to say, but now you got to line up and you got to show, right? And however it happens, the kids will gain perspective from it to know that football isn't a game. You can't just jump up and become Jeremiah Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a process. You got to be big. You got to be strong. You got to be fast. You got to be intentional. It's, you know, it's got to be a lot. So I think just exposing them to that kind of, again, gives them perspective. And when they do have their opponent in front of them, they're more than ready or more than prepared to go to war.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, like you said, Springfield Central, you're getting your guys ready right off the bat. And what, like, again, as you're saying, like adversity, you want them to deal with it because you learn so much, right? The kids learn so much.
Absolutely.
And it's only going to make them tougher, and it's only going to make them better. Being a Central grad, 2012, does it help you connect with the kids there now because you went through what they went through?
100%. 100%. I think that's my superpower right now. Is I'm a scent boy, right? That's what we call us. That's what the Central kids.
I love it. He's a scent boy.
I'm a scent boy, right?
Yeah.
And that connection is like our slogan is once a night, always a night. And there's just a special connection that comes with Central kids, Central boys, Central football. So I think that was my first initial superpower when I came as the assistant. Is I was one of them. Now I'm way older, and it's so crazy to say. People laugh, but I say coaches age differently, you know, than regular people. But when I showed up, it was really good.
That's
really
good.
Yep.
And it must have felt. You must have felt it too.
Yeah, for sure. The responses, right? And you know, that's when I found out that kids, they want to be there long. They want to stay after. They want to do extra. And then, you know, when they find out that you were one of them, you know, I got kids now. Coach, I'm going to be better than you. Coach, I want to wear your number. We have the number 3 retired right now. I want that jersey, Coach. I want that number. So it's always something for kids to look for. And, you know, I had a pretty decent high school career. So I love kids who try to, you know, be better than I was. You know, that's what I implore. That's what I'm trying to teach all our running backs right now. I need you to be 30 times better than what I was. So, you know, it's a good feeling that, you know, the kids know and understand that you come from the same place as them. You walk the same hallway as them. And then when you go in and you see our trophy case, you see a 17-year-old picture of me and our state championship runner-up team in the trophy case. And the kids always walk by and they make fun. But it's definitely the sense of connection that they respect and understand.
That's awesome. Head coach Mike Washington, the Central Knights, they will be on a Friday Night Blitz every single week, unless they are up in New Hampshire. Is that going to be a Friday or?
That's going to be a Saturday.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Milton will be a Friday, though.
Milton will be a Friday? Amazing. Mike, thanks so much for coming in on our back to school special. We appreciate you, my man.
Thank you
and
for having me.
We'll see you soon.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Sir.